Well, I said I'd do a thing on the hammer, and so I am. I've changed a fair bit on the Tavor in the time that I've had it, as far as getting into a new rail along the top, which means that we can do night vision, which you've seen, which means I can now do folding sights to an extent. We've got a Troy up top. I had an ARMS M40 for the bottom, or 40L, whichever ARMS it is for the rear sight. The Canada Ammo rail is too wide for that, so I'm going to have to get something with a little more adjustability, maybe a YHM. We've swapped out our flash hider for a Surefire flash hider, and unfortunately we've swapped out our Surefire light for an Inforce light. This is my second Inforce light. Actually, the first one I had to take back, but the guys at Shooting Edge were really good about that. It was not reliable. This one comes on every time I push the button, so can't argue with that. I mean, this light, its size and its price and its ability are all pretty good. There's some questions about the quality of make. I mean, it's mostly plastic, but for under $200 to get something this slim and that will do IR and white light in a couple of different variables and a strobe mode, right? Like, can't argue with that. So, it's doing well. I have a feeling this might end up living more on the shotgun than it does on the Tavor, and the Tavor might have another Surefire in its future. One of the problems that I've found, or that I do, is because there isn't a whole lot to convert on this system, I change optics. I change optics a lot. Like, I've probably put 5 or 6 different scopes on this thing and shot it, and I'm constantly re-zeroing, and I really enjoy it, and I like trying out different new stuff. But one of my goals this summer is to find a set of glass that I like and stick with it. This is what I've got on here currently, the Leupold HAMR. I didn't realize this gun was, I didn't realize this scope was a Call of Duty scope until I was talking to one of my friends about how I got this, and various coworkers were saying, oh yeah, I've shot that scope on video games. And if I'd known that, you know what, I probably wouldn't have bought it. You'll see that I've taken the shield off the top. I find the delta point incredibly busy when you have the actual shield that comes with the hammer. It's like a solid black line in your view. You don't do two eyes open with it, or at least I don't. The delta point is quite bright. Like, it's brighter than the EOTech, the standard EOTech I run with the night vision stuff. This is definitely brighter in daylight. I was not convinced on the triangle initially. I'm starting to come around to it at 25 yards. It's kind of nice to just pull up that large red dot over something. And if you're going further out, the idea that you've zeroed at the very tip of that dot is kind of cool. But really, anything further out, that's where you're supposed to be transitioning to the powered unit there. It's a fixed 4-power optic. It has a decent reticle in it. It looks very similar to an ACOG reticle with a little donut in there. The illumination settings are nice. Something that Vortex does that now Leupold is starting to do as well is every second click is off, which I think is super, super handy. There's nothing more to me than being able to remember that 7 is my usual brightness, and that if I flick down to 6 or up to 7 when I'm in a rush, it's still going to be pretty close to what I want. Whereas coming up from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, kind of irritating. And slow. One of the things you'll notice with this optic is the delta point is very high. I mean, you've got a reasonably high mount already when you're down like that. And then to come up, really if I'm trying to get any kind of weld, it's with the jawline, essentially, that I'm tacking on there. And that's okay, but at the same time, it's not nearly as fast as when I have the EOTech on the front end and I just slap my cheek down on it, right? For me to acquire the delta point, you sort of have to come up and then down again. You have to find it. You do have to find it. I love the 4-power optic. It's very bright. It's very similar to an ACOG. It has a little bit more eye relief, thank God. ACOGs look really cool, but if you've ever shot one, they're just, I don't know, I feel like I'm being pulled right into them. This doesn't do that. It still doesn't have near the eye relief that my 1:4 PST does. Like, here, I'm not getting a good image. I have to be there to get a good image through the scope. And really, ideally, I want to be, right about there. Be getting the full field of view, which is very large on this. I mean, because it's only a 4-power and because it's pretty good glass, you get a really big image coming into your eye, which is nice. But what I really want, what I really would like to see in here on the long run, I've got a couple of those ADM offset mounts, which you've seen, and I would love to see the new Vortex Razor sitting in one of those. They've done a Gen 2 Razor that is a true 1 power to a 6 power, which is bringing it more into sort of that Night Force and maybe Schmidt and Bender kind of league as far as having a lot more magnification on there. The reticle that they've got on it is designed by that famous US speed shooter. I'll find his name. It looks really good. It looks like very similar to a Spectre DR kind of reticle that is simple but really fast and precise. Now, I haven't tried it, so I can't say that with any certainty, but I'm looking forward to trying it. It's definitely on my list of something that I want and want to see on this gun. The only thing which I really want, and you'll see it when I run my 1 to 4 PST, the switch view throw lever, being able to just haul back and forth between powers, I think that'll be really important on 1 to 6 as well. So hopefully later on in the summer we'll see those starting to show up, and well, if I have any ability at all, I'll try to get my hands on one. But that still leaves me with the problem of what I want on there right now. I mean, I had the EOTech on this morning, I've got this on here now, and this afternoon when I'm at the range I'll probably put my Vortex Viper PST back on there. I like the 1 to 4 power, I really do. But it's just, I have to pick something. I have to pick something and stick with it, so we'll see what happens there.